What's up, everybody? I'm B-True, and today we're going to talk about what makes Naruto so awesome, right? So first off, let's just say I'm only going to be talking about Naruto, not Naruto Shippuden. That's a whole different thing. There are two different reasons as to, there's a lot of differences between the two of them. So this will only be a video about Naruto, all right? So let's talk for a second about what are some of the differences between Naruto and Naruto Shippuden. Well, first of all, one of the biggest, most clear differences is the power level, okay? So when you look at Naruto, the original Naruto, you have these much simpler jutsu. You have much simpler fights. There's a lot less going on. In Shippuden, you've got a lot of these fights with these characters that are able to just wipe out entire villages, with jutsu. And the fights are these grand scale, destroying mountains kind of fights, and there's nothing wrong with that. But with Naruto, it's much, much simpler, okay? The jutsu are much simpler. The fights are much simpler. And there's a very strategic punch, counter-punch type of style in the fights, okay? So that's like probably one of the biggest differences between Naruto and Naruto Shippuden is just the level of the action that's going on, right? All right, so let's all think back for a second, just for a second, right? Think about the first moment that you really fell in love with Naruto, okay? That first moment where it clicked like, wow, this show's amazing. Now, for a lot of us, that moment is going to be the fight between Kakashi and Zabuza. That's the first real fight that you get to see in this show, right? The first time that you see two ninja with full ability sets clashing head to head, and you get to see what real ninja fights are like, right? So while you're watching this fight, the first time that you see Kakashi breaks out his Sharingan, you see these levels of strategy and jutsu that these ninja are able to pull out, and it's like, oh, okay, so this is what they're able to do. Because before this, we've been seeing, like very small jutsu, like Sasuke had his fireball jutsu. It was really small. Naruto could make a couple shadow clones, under dire situations. Normally you make it like maybe one or so. But so in this fight, you see them bust out some pretty high level jutsu and a lot of, really big things going on. So then if you think to the point where Zabuza makes his water clone, right? He traps Kakashi. So you're thinking to yourself, okay, there's a clone and he's got Kakashi trapped. With Kakashi being trapped, these kids are pretty much screwed against this murderer, right? This assassin here. And if you think back to what they did, right? So they have the iconic Shadow Shuriken move. Now, if you can't remember this, or if you didn't for some reason watch Naruto, basically what happens is Sasuke is really good at throwing shuriken. So he pulls out he called it like the demon windmill shuriken or something like that. It's a giant shuriken that was almost the size of his body. Jumps into the air, and he throws it right at Zabuza, right? And so Zabuza just laughs at this, and he lets it, so his clone's in front of him, and he lets it just go past him because he's like, oh, they missed. And then he realizes that they were aiming at the Zabuza that has Kakashi trapped, and he's like, oh, that's, there's no way that that's ever going to hit me. So he catches it, right? He just catches that shit out of the air. Badass. At this point, he realizes that they had hidden another shuriken in the shadow of the first shuriken. So you couldn't see the second shuriken until the first one was out of the way. So as soon as he caught the first one, he realizes, okay, well, there's a second one right behind it. Again, he laughs, and he's like, these kids have no idea who they're messing with right now. And he just jumps in the air, right? Jumps over top of it. He's holding one. He's got Kakashi trapped with the other hand and just jumps over it. Still super confident. At this point, you see where the whole crazy strategy comes into play, right? So at that point, the second shuriken that missed transforms back into Naruto. Naruto had transformed himself into a shuriken, which Sasuke threw. So he then is holding a kunai knife and throws it at Zabuza, who has no options at this point but to either get hit by that kunai or release Kakashi so that he can deflect the other shuriken, okay? And it was like the first time that you see them work together. You see this crazy strategy move where it's just like, oh, this happens, but this guy is got it covered. Oh, but what really happened was that the character did this. Well, the second guy, or the guy was prepared for that as well. Oh, but there was a third layer to the strategy, and the guy had no answer for it, right? A lot of times in the show going forward, they have this kind of style of these strategies where it's like punch, counter punch, punch, counter punch kind of thing. But this is the first time that it really hits you, and you're just like, wow, that was awesome. That was amazing. I can't believe, like, I didn't see that coming for a second. So that kind of fight is one of, because it was so simple. It was such a simple concept, right? But it felt so powerful in that moment because of what they were able to accomplish against Zabuza. Okay, so for a lot of us, that was the moment that we really fell in love with Naruto. It was that moment right there. All right, so then think another thing that's really makes the show awesome is the first time that we get to see the Nine Tails in Naruto. Right, so they're on that bridge. They're going up against Haku. Haku, who is a boy. Gotta remember that. Haku is a boy. So Sasuke is badly hurt, and Naruto just kind of snaps, right? So it's the first time that you see that Nine Tails kind of take over. And it's that classic anime rage moment that everybody loves. I mean, it works for a reason, right? It gets you pumped up, gets your blood pumping, you get all excited, you want to go outside and just start punching stuff. But you see that and you're just like, oh shit, there's more to Naruto than what we actually thought. You know, there's layers to this character that we don't know. We don't know a lot about this character yet. We still don't know what all he's capable of. This is like the first time that you see Naruto's real potential, right? It comes through, and you're like, oh shit, there might be something to this. This Naruto character is, because at that point, I mean, he just starts like destroying the mirrors that were supposed to be unbreakable, right? He just loses his fucking mind, and it was awesome. It was amazing. Okay. So we've got those two things really early in the show. You've got the fight between Kakashi and Zabuza, and then you've got that rage moment on the bridge, and then the finish of the Zabuza-Kakashi kind of fight thing, right? Those two things to start the show are amazing. It gives you a really good feel for how the show is going to go. It really helps you to understand what's going on, and you start to really be like, okay, this show has a lot of potential. There's a lot of awesome things going on. Then we get the Chunin exams. Chunin exams might be one of the best arcs of the entire Naruto series, between Naruto and Shippuden. I'm, like I said, not really going to talk about Shippuden in this one, but the Chunin exams might be the best arc of all of Naruto, right? So every single moment of the Chunin exams was super, super intense. I think back to the very beginning. The very beginning of the Chunin exams is a handwritten test on a desk. And somehow they make that test feel so, like, so insane. So you start seeing all these ways. Okay, so these are questions that none of them are supposed to be able to answer, okay? And so they're all like, all right, well, some people in this room do know these answers. They look really confident. So it's, all right, who can get away with cheating? Who has a skill set that helps them in this situation? So you see Gaara can create an eyeball out of sand, and you're like, what the fuck is this? You've got Ino, who can possess other people. You've got Sasuke, who can use his Sharingan to copy the pen movements of somebody else in front of him. I mean, it's insane. You start seeing how diverse these ninja can be, and these like crazy skill sets that they can have. You start to really get a feel for the world of ninja and just how different every ninja can possibly be, and just like the types of things that you're going to end up running into. Okay, so this is a handwritten test that feels like a fight in a way. It's crazy. Then we move on to the Forest of Death. The Forest of Death is obviously amazing. A lot of awesome things happen in the Forest of Death. But right after the Forest of Death, what do we have? We have those one-on-one fights. Those one-on-one fights felt like life and death fights, when in reality it's just two kids that are competing to beat each other in order to make it up further in this testing situation, right? They're kids. You forget that they're kids because you're watching them beat the shit out of each other. Like, some of them, like Gaara, are actually trying to murder the other one. Like, they don't care about winning. They want to murder the other person. And so these fights, these one-on-one fights, carried so much weight to them because they felt like life and death fights. They really did. It was insane. So let's think about some of the iconic fights, okay? Gaara versus Lee has to be probably the best of the first initial rounds of those fights, right? When you see them square off, first off, you've got Gaara, who is this, you know, unmovable, unfeeling murderer, and Lee, who's all about hard work. And when he takes off the ankle weights, right, and you see him drop them, and you're just like, oh shit, that guy's been carrying around some serious weight. He starts actually pushing Gaara, and that fight starts to evolve and become, you know, this crazy, like, insane fight for these kids, for these children, right? That fight was amazing. Then you've got, in the next rounds, you've got Neji versus Naruto, which is, it's like Naruto doesn't have any skills at this point. You know what I mean? He's got clones, and that's about it. And you've got Neji, who is this taijutsu expert. He's able to shut down your chakra network, and he's got this defense that allows him, he's got these crazy eyes, right? And it's like, okay, Naruto doesn't stand a chance, and what happens? He just wills his way through the fight. He just bears down and grits, and is like, I'm gonna win this fight because I have to. You know, you're stronger than me. You are much better in taijutsu than I am. Like, you're probably smarter of a fighter than I am. But Naruto's like, I need to win, and I'm going to win. And he does, and it's such an amazing fight. The Shikamaru versus Tamari fight, where it's two tacticians facing off, where it's more about the mental aspect. You know, Shikamaru's throwing these balloons up into the air to create extra shadows to increase his shadow. He's sending his shadow under holes in the ground and shit, and you're just like, what the fuck is going on here? And then obviously the Sasuke versus Gaara fight, which was, you know, insane. You've got Sasuke as he's starting to really hit some high levels of power. You've got Gaara, who at this point has murdered pretty much everybody who's stood in front of him. And then how that kind of whole thing kind of devolves into, you know, the huge fight of that ends up happening in the middle of the Chunin exams. But Chunin exams, one of the best arcs of the entire show, and it really like hits you on all of the levels, right? It just gets you so excited for this show, watching these fights. So then we get the introduction of arguably, now this is very, very controversial, but arguably the best villain in all of Naruto's, besides maybe Pain, right? So Pain and Orochimaru are, in a lot of people's minds, it's sort of a toss-up between the two of them, okay? Now, some of you, obviously, you like Obito / Toby, whatever. You know, a lot of you obviously love Madara, that kind of stuff. But when you think about Pain and Orochimaru, those two, for most people, are like 1 and 2 as far as antagonists and villains of the show. So you get this introduction of Orochimaru, and at this point, the show starts to kind of scale up a lot. So you start seeing these top-end ninjas now. You've been spending a lot of time focusing on these kids. You know, you get to see Kakashi a little bit here and there, but he never really goes full out. And then you see Orochimaru, and he faces off against the Hokage, right? And he brings other Hokage to life. And you start seeing these intense, large-scale battles. Like, these crazy jutsu start getting thrown out. And you're just like, wow, we actually have a really long way to go. We've been watching these, like, really interesting, awesome fights, but you start to see a glimpse into the future of what's possible when these ninja hit the upper echelons of power. And so you've got Orochimaru, who is this cynical, cold, controlling, manipulating character who has extremely clear goals. And he's just a great villain because he's always pulling the strings. You know exactly why he's doing what he's doing. He'll tell you. And he's got, like I said, very clear goals and an understanding of how to bring those goals about. And so introducing him as the antagonist, from that point on, the show just got better and better because you're always chasing this seemingly unkillable ninja who has spent his entire life trying to master every jutsu possible, and he's working on making himself immortal. and you're just like, holy shit, this is insane. This is such a different level. And then he starts bringing his underlings, and then the whole chase between Sasuke and then Naruto happens. And so because of all of those things, Orochimaru is, like I said, arguably one of the best antagonists in the entire show. So then another thing that really makes the show awesome is how it hits you on emotional levels, right? So if you think because in this actually isn't just exclusively to Naruto, this happens in Naruto Shippuden as well. Both of them do the same thing emotionally, as far as how they kind of invoke your feelings, right? So there's like seriously deep moments in Naruto as a whole that are backed by this excellent, perfect soundtrack that complement the moment so well, if you think about it, right? So there are these motivational moments where Naruto's talking about how, you know, he'll never give up. He's gonna fight until it kills him if he has to protect his friends. And in the background, you've got this music that's just like swelling up behind him as he's coming to a head, and then he you know, declares his motivation. He's like, I'm going to stop you. And then the music just like kicks, the battle starts, and you like, your heart's racing. Like I said, you want to go outside, you want to just like punch a tree or something like that, and you go run through a brick wall. It's crazy how the soundtrack, along with these words and the determination that you can see in the characters' eyes, really invoke these feelings in you. And the thing about the contrary, right, the opposite, Naruto is also filled with these extremely sad moments, right? A lot of characters have sad backstories. A lot of sad moments happen in the show when characters die, or like when Sasuke leaves and Naruto loses. Think about that, and then think about the music that plays in the background. And you'd be lying if you didn't say that your eyes got filled with tears at some of these moments in the show. Some of the moments with this sad soundtrack just like fills your eyes with tears, but it doesn't make you sad per se. It's just so emotional that it just like, it wells up and it overcomes you. I cried. You cried. Don't lie about it. I'm not gonna lie about it. You don't lie about it. We all cried at Naruto at one point or another, okay? You fucking know it's true. Alright? I will not lie to you. Like I said, that show brought me to tears more times than I can freaking count. Alright? That show is just so powerful. It hits you in so many emotional levels. And this, like I said, that's one of the things that just makes the show so incredible. And then last but not least, for me, like I said, the life lessons of the show are so powerful, and one of the things that truly like transcend just the whole fighting and you know, all that good stuff. Like there's deep life lessons in the show that everybody could learn from, that could make everybody a better person. All right, so you think about the first one, the one that's hammered home the entire show, and that's friendship. The importance of having friends, right? Think about how lonely Sasuke was. Think about how lonely Naruto was. And no matter how good Sasuke was, he always had this deep pain inside of him. Naruto was always acting out because he had that pain inside of him because he was lonely. He didn't have friends. He didn't have people that brought him happiness, right? It shows you how important friendship is, how important it is to have friends and to be, you know, in a close group of people that you can trust and that you can, you know, love, right? And then it talks about kind of the strength of true friendship and how important it is to have a strong, like, real friendship with good people. You know, you have that close circle, 3-4 people max of best friends that you would die for, right? That you would give anything for in a moment's notice. You would jump in front of a bullet for those people without hesitating, because that's just how much they mean to you, right? And it's important to have that. It's important to stand by your best friends. When you have that close group of people, it is super important that you decide, right, that you would do anything for them because you know that they would do anything for you, right? And that's the first big life lesson, right? Next, overcoming adversity. How many times in the show does Naruto have to push himself, and when all the chips are stacked against him, what does he do? He finds a way to win. Every single person in this life is going to face adversity all the time. All the time. I mean, almost on a daily basis, you're going to face adversity. And it's so important that you decide on the inside that you are going to overcome that adversity no matter what it takes. You're going to beat whatever it is, right? Whether it's stress, whether it's bills, whether it's somebody that doesn't like you, your job, school, sports, whatever it is, you have to decide that you are bigger than this adversity and you're going to overcome it no matter what it takes, okay? Doesn't matter how much of an underdog you are. It doesn't matter what you have to give, right? It's you are going to beat this adversity no matter what it takes. And that's a super important life lesson because it has to go with mental toughness, right? And just your ability to overcome when the chips are down, when you're not in a perfect happy state, right? Because you're not always going to be in a perfect happy state. That's just not reality. That's not life. And Naruto shows you how to do that in such a powerful way. You can really learn from the way that he handles adversity in the show. I mean, you think about all the times that like Sasuke left, you know, the times that he lost. You think about all those times and it might have made him upset. Absolutely. It's okay to be upset, but he never once gave up. And every time that he lost, he said, I'm going to work 10 times harder so that I never feel that again. I'm going to work until I am so strong that I can't lose my friends again, that I can never be upset because I couldn't do something. And that's something that you should really strive for in your own life. And we're going to be talking about an anime, but these lessons transcend shows, okay? These are real life lessons that the anime creators bake into the show to try and help people in real life. Finally, we've got being somebody who stands by their word, okay? And that's known as integrity, okay? So having integrity. And that means, listen, and this is something that I strive for the most. I pride myself on being a man of my word, okay? If I say that I'm going to do something, if I make a promise to somebody, I will die before I will let that promise go through. If I say that I'm going to do something, I will do everything in my absolute power to make sure that I, make that come true. And that's integrity. That's standing by your word. That's not being somebody who just says things without thinking about it. I'm very careful about what I say because I know that when I say something, I'm bound to it. I hold myself accountable to it. Other people might not. Other people, they probably won't call you out on it. But they do recognize somebody who has integrity, who is a person of their word, who stands by what they say. And it's really rare nowadays. It is. In an age with all this anonymity, with the internet, and the ability to just say whatever you want. You can just text people, random crap throughout the day. And it's really easy to lose track of this concept of integrity, this concept of really being somebody that does what they say they're going to do and not just being full of hot air and just talking a bunch of shit, right? So that's one of the most important things that I really feel that you can do to separate yourself from other people. And your friends will notice this. People of the opposite sex that you're looking to attract will notice this. And when I say that, I mean like high quality people of the opposite sex. I don't mean just like some hot girl that you think you would be into, but she's like really like a shitty person on the inside. That's not what I mean. The people who recognize this are the people who look for that because they understand how important it is, okay? High quality girls for me, guys for any girls that are watching this video. It's really important to somebody who's actually worth it, okay? They will recognize something like integrity, like standing by your word, not being somebody that plays a bunch of games, right? Family, I already said friends. Your job will absolutely recognize if you are a person who stands by the word. If you say you're going to have something done by a certain time or certain day, and you always have it done by that time or day, they learn to trust you. They learn to believe in you. Okay, they understand that you have integrity, that you will stand by your word, and you will make it happen no matter what. Right? Whew. I didn't mean to turn this into like a whole life thing, but Naruto has so many life lessons in it. I felt like I really had to cover them in order to truly get across how awesome Naruto is and why Naruto is so awesome. But anyway, so this video is entirely subjective, okay? This is entirely my opinion. Some of you might disagree. Some of you might agree. Like I said, some of you might hate Orochimaru as a villain. Some of you might think Orochimaru was the best villain of all time. Some of you might hate the Chunin exams. Some of you might love the Chunin exams. A lot of people do love the Chunin exams, but you might hate it. I know, like I said, entirely subjective. If you disagree with me, that's okay. It's all right for us to disagree, okay? If you hated Naruto, that's okay. It's all right. This is just my opinions on what, to me, made Naruto so awesome. So, thank you all very much for watching the video. I do appreciate it. And thank you to everybody who stayed for the entire thing and are listening to it right now. I can't thank you enough. It really helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. My channel has been growing very, very rapidly recently, and a lot of it has to do with you guys that watch the whole way through the video, because YouTube algorithm loves when everybody watches the whole way through the video, and so they recommend me more, and that's how my channel grows. So I cannot thank you all enough. You guys are the MVP, and you guys are helping me to grow at the rate that I'm growing right now. So thank you all so much. I hope you enjoyed this video. I would like to do one of these sort of on like a weekly basis, like on Sundays, since generally on Sundays, I try not to, I don't want to put a bunch of effort into, you know, like trying to make awesome videos, since Sundays are my day off. So I try and be kind of like low key. And a video like this is really easy for me to talk about things that I really enjoy and get a little discussion going. So hopefully you enjoy these videos. Like I said, I'd like to keep going them maybe once every Sunday. It'd be pretty awesome. So hope you guys all have a great day. I'll see you all in the next video, and peace.